This is Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thidoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
All right, good morning. It is time to attack and dominate. This is Morning Juice. Morning Juice sponsored by Riverside Bank Dublin, in Dublin there. So thank you to them. Got a big show lined up for you today. Bobby, how the hell are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm so great. If I was any better, I'd be triplets.
That's a new one for me. That's a new one for me.
Because why stop at twins?
Why stop at twins? That's how I like to live my life, with that mantra right there. Shark, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Tito. It's Coaster Bob Wednesday.
No, it's not Coaster Bob.
Coaster Bob for Shark's life.
It's last Wednesday.
Wednesday.
This is the last Wednesday you will likely, barring some kind of financial
don't
problem
even
by
go
you.
there.
No, but it's all likelihood your last Wednesday
We're
of working.
going into Iran. Markets are tanking. Shark's going to have to stay.
I'll be at Walmart. Greeter at Walmart.
You would know.
I'm not coming back here. Had enough.
You're telling me under no circumstances would you ever come back?
I
Never say never.
never
Shark.
say never,
Right,
I guess.
thank you.
But
You've
anyway.
seen Boogie Nights, right?
I have seen Boogie Nights.
Hey, look,
You don't want to end up in that pickup truck in a supermarket.
You've heard of Ash Wednesday? This is last Wednesday.
there you go.
The last Wednesday.
We should do like a Last Supper thing with you also, and try to figure out which one of us is the is Judas at the station. We could do that.
E2 Brute. So we can go back to our great fan poll again. The great traders of all time.
Yes.
Brutus, Judas,
yeah.
Benedict Arnold,
Right.
and Art Modell.
Art Modell, that's right. That'd be the four. I think Modell probably win that poll here locally. We are 36 days until the Pro Football Hall of Fame game. 59 days to the first
that
four.
sounds so terrible.
No, it's all, but it's awesome. It's awesome.
The teams that are playing in it, they have to always. People act like it's just, and it is cool to be able to do. It's a standalone preseason game, and so that's fun for everybody. But my dad played in it one year. The year that we were going to play in Dallas, that was when I got traded. But it's an added game. You lose a week of your summer.
Right.
You get paid like another $1,100.
Right.
I try to tell people during training camp you get paid by the week, and you get paid like I don't know how much it is, but relative to your salary, it's not moving the needle. And so to have to give up Shark. Imagine giving up a week of your summer to go do that, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're playing in this game. None of them really matter anyway." It's why? Why did I have to leave vacation and do all this a week early? It's just,
And then, now no starters play. Starters don't play hardly in any preseason game.
They used to play in that game. You could see like a starter out there for the first half sometimes, and back in Sharks'
they don't even
day.
dress them now. They just come up there and they have their jersey on, and I mean,
I remember in 1999 when the Browns came back as an expansion team.
Right.
They beat the Cowboys in the Hall of Fame game, and
that should have been auspicious, knowing that they were going to just
people in Cleveland went nuts. Boy, I think this team can go 8-8 this season.
Yeah.
After watching that game, yeah.
It's one of those things where
people gamble on preseason games.
That's ludicrous.
I mean, you want to talk. Well, here's the thing. I'm like, if you know who's going to play and how much, then you've got a pretty good feel for it.
But even if the starters play, it's for a series or two.
Well, I said and how much.
Yeah.
Because there's times where you might play sometimes it's more punishment-based, Shark, than anything, where if something happened, the coaches have said, if you keep screwing around, you'll be in there until halftime. And they've said that during the week of practice, guys, get it together. Usually it's if guys are fighting or whatever. And so if you have some inside knowledge, I will tell you this about betting preseason football. I would generally almost always bet the over because you get real thin on those defensive backs late in the game. And occasionally there's some just real bad offense. But usually you get guys who are falling down. They're getting in 2-minute situations. And all coaches want to work their 2 minutes, see which young quarterback they want to keep. That's really the one position that they look at. It's okay, who's going to be able to play back there? So I bet if you look more often than not, the overs probably land.
I have bet on preseason football. I was in Vegas.
I mean,
it was in
August. Were you hanging out there
or-
with Pete Rose?
I just put a little action on, nothing big, a little something. But
Make it interesting. You and Scotty Vegas,
that's fine. That's fine. But
bet on Artie's third grade soccer games too.
The way it's usually take the over on that one. But the way that me growing up, I would get so excited about the Hall of Fame game, like I am today, talking about how many days away, 36 days away, and I could not wait to watch it. And then about 10 minutes in, I was ready to go outside and do something else. Yeah. It's like it was one of those things just because it wasn't that great. But anyway, big show lined up for you today. Lots to get into. NFL talk, college football. What else we got? We'll do, the thing with Florio and Pablo Torre we're going to talk about at 7 o'clock is a big story that's come out about the NFL. We'll talk about that, though, again at 7 o'clock. Thanks to all the juicers jumping in the chat there. Bobby, make us all smarter.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
All right, do your thing, Bob.
Well, it is Wednesday, June 25th, 176th day of the year, 189 days remaining in this 2025.
6 months until Christmas.
Yeah, there we go.
You guys working that day?
I'm not sure. If Bobby wants to work, we'll work.
Christmas Day, I usually
I don't know
take
what
off.
day Christmas is on this year.
I usually know.
Said he always wants it on a Friday.
Yes,
like the 4th
we're going
of
to have
July.
it on the 21st or the 27th. Not on
I
the
don't.
20
You guys are both very smart gentlemen. I don't know how you can't get behind this. The holidays always need to be on the weekend, like the day before, so we get the Friday off. Everyone gets a 3-day weekend, no matter when we celebrate the birth of our Savior or if we're shooting off fireworks.
Birth of a Savior, birth of a country. I mean, it's all the same.
Right.
Let's move Easter to a Friday so we get a 3-day weekend.
Yes.
Maybe bump it to a Monday.
Yes.
Why not? Just
I don't care if I am on either one. I'm fine with all that.
Yeah, that's great.
I've done it on Monday, though, because you have to work Tuesday, and you're probably hungover for your Easter drinking.
Shark, your birthday's on Friday. See if you can keep it there all year, every year now.
Every year. I'm going to celebrate on Friday. 4th of July on Friday this year.
You guys need to get behind this thing. And Super Bowl Saturday, by the way. That's the
Here's
other
the thing, Thidoff. You get the 4th of July on Friday, like probably a third of the time anyway, because if it falls on a weekend, you get the weekday prior off.
Right.
And so you're looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of those days, it being on Friday for you.
2/7 of the time, right?
Yeah.
It'd be 3.
How is it 3? I'm saying it's on Friday or Saturday. Sunday, we got to work the next day.
But you get Friday off still.
Oh.
You're getting the Friday. That's my point. You get the Friday off before the 4th, 3 days in a row.
I'm not going to let your logical math change my mind on this one.
Okay. This state's 1788. Virginia ratifies the Constitution to become the 10th state in the Union. The state 1876, rather. It's a tough one for our guy, Mr. General George Armstrong Custer. Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse were waiting for him there at the Battle of Little Bighorn. 5,000 Native Americans, one of the final last stands during the Indian Wars. And they slaughtered him, Shark.
They did.
Well,
he was a pretty smart, strategic guy. He finished high at his class at West Point.
Yeah.
And Grant, who finished very poorly at West Point, decided that was his man. And he did some good things, Bob, but in the end, his ego got in the way.
Is that what happened? How he lost
his
that
ego,
one?
Got a little cocky.
He got cocky, and then some of his majors, I think people bailed off and maybe didn't show up.
Probably because they knew what was coming.
Maybe that was it. But yeah,
That fight was for Texas?
it was up in the Sioux, Indiana. Yeah, it was
I thought it was Texas.
North Dakota.
North Dakota, yes.
I thought it was Texas.
The Sioux are not in get out of here, dude. Come on, you know this. This date, 1934. New York Yankees pitcher John Bosa?
Don't know that name.
Boaca.
I don't know that name.
Boca?
Johnny B.
He strikes out 5 consecutive times, tying a record currently in major leagues. Didn't have the DH back then.
No.
What year was the DH instituted?
1973. I was going to say 2.
There we go. You better remember some of this stuff without Shark here to back you up.
I'll still be the third smartest man in the room when it turns to July 2nd.
This date, 1947, The Diary of a Young Girl is released. That diary was of Anne Frank. Is first published. 1976, all 1967. Sorry, my dyslexia is running high today. All You Need Is Love is premiered by the Beatles in what I believe, I'm going to confirm this, is in front of 400 million fans
I think
on
you're
television.
right. I know we talked about it yesterday, and I questioned you. I think you're right on that one. And when they did the video,
This is what it says. 400 million people watching on TV.
You look in the crowd, how many different stars you see, like Mick Jagger's in the background and stuff like that. A bunch of pop stars and things like that are all there when they did it. Yeah, it was beautiful.
All you need is love.
All right. Da-da-da-da.
That's a great banger, man.
Shark, love is all you need. Mm-hmm. This date, 1968. 1 year later, Shark informed me this guy used to just be a chain smoker ripping heaters. But in his first game as a San Francisco Giant, Bobby Bonds rakes a grand slam.
In his first major league game, third at bat, Bobby Bonds hits a grand slam home run off Dodgers righty John Purden in a Giants 9-0 victory at the Stick.
Bonds hit 332 home runs in a career that spanned parts of 3 decades. His best season was in 1977 with the California Angels, when Bonds hit 37 dingers and drove in 115 runs.
That's pretty impressive. I remember I told Shark that. He's like, in the first game? I'm like, yeah, his first game. I mean, it took Willie Mays 11 games, I want to say, and to get a hit, right?
Something like that.
I think it went over 20 or something like that to start things off. And then, yeah, he begged to go back down to the minors. Giants, Yankees, Angels, White Sox, Rangers, Indians, Cardinals, Cubs.
Played for half the league back then.
Yes, he did. He's the Jim Jackson of Major League Baseball.
Why did he bounce so much? Because he was such a nice guy, like his son?
He wasn't really a nice guy.
I think that he...
Couldn't be a bigger jerk than Barry.
Could he be a bigger jerk than Dave Kingman? Dave Kingman
How
one
about
time...
Andy Van Slyke?
Oh, yeah. Kingman played for all 4 divisions in one season,
same
77.
season.
Yeah, he played for the Yankees, the Angels, the maybe Cubs or Mets, and I think Giants was the other one for him too, yeah.
That's pretty impressive stuff. This date, 1969. The Guess Who gets certified gold with These Eyes.
These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I have with you.
Oh, These Eyes. That is a tremendous one, Sharky. And Dinoff brought up a good point. What's his name?
Oh, it's he was also in. Let me think. What's
he's in Juno and.
I haven't seen that one. Yeah, but
Peter.
I've seen that one.
It's Peter something.
I'll find it.
Who are you talking? What
The
are
guy
you
who
talking?
sings in
Superbad. Superbad. When he has to sing it to get out of the party.
Yes, and his rendition is almost more entertaining.
I like
now.
it more. Yes.
This date, 1984. Purple Rain is released by Prince, his highest-selling album of his career.
Such a shame our friendship had to purple rain.
And then he visited the Queen a few years ago.
You know what?
did.
It's Michael Cera.
Michael Cera, not
That's
Peter.
the name. You were thinking of Peter Cetera, who you were thinking of.
Which Michael Cera sounds very similar to him.
The Prince.
He got Juno pregnant.
Did he? I don't know.
I mean,
I have
He
seen
was
Juno.
also in, wasn't he in Blades of Glory with
yes,
Farrell?
yeah,
And the dude from Napoleon Dynamite, right?
Yeah.
Was he in Blades of Glory?
yes.
I don't know. Anyway,
Tantalizing this crowd like a stack of Euro porn.
I couldn't quote it for you, but I had a point here. Purple Rain,
Yes.
greatest halftime show, Prince's, right?
In the rain.
In the rain.
In Miami.
Do you think that was staged like Schlegel's hit on that guy coming onto the field?
Stop it. You're a conspiracy theorist.
Is Doves Cry on Purple Rain, Shark? Did we establish that?
It is.
I think
Good
it is.
job. There you go, Thedoff.
Yeah, because it was from the movie. You see, you watch the video, you see him.
Absolutely. Hypes on that motorcycle.
Yeah, the motorcycle there with
classic scene.
Apollonia.
Classic scene. This day, 1988, Cal Ripken plays his 1,000th consecutive game en route to be taking over the Iron Horse. But did he ever play a game with ALS? That's the question.
Good question.
I mean, listen, Lou Gehrig probably has the record because I don't know if anyone else was able to do that. Told me he died a year later almost? Year and a half?
His last game was in 39. He died in 41.
Yeah.
2 years.
I mean, unbelievable. And then this date, 1997. Big news in Columbus, honestly, 25 years after the construction of Nationwide Arena, which now needs a facelift at the tune of $400 million. But the NHL announced its expansion for 4 teams. Nashville in 98, Atlanta in 99, Seabus in Minnesota in 2000.
For a league that just 30 years ago resided in only 6 cities, the millennium will see NHL frozen ponds and glowing pucks in 30, including the capital of country music and the home of the Buckeyes.
The NHL has expanded exponentially since the original 6 doubled in 1967. The NHL will form a 6-division format divided into 2 conferences, Eastern and Western. The order for joining the league begins with Nashville in the 98-99 season. They will join the Central Division with 3 of the original 6, Chicago, Detroit, and Toronto. Phase 2 begins in 1999 when Atlanta joined the Southeast Division of the Eastern Conference. By the turn of the century, expansion will be complete with Columbus and Minnesota entering the league. Columbus, the city, not the man who disproved the world was flat, starts play in the Northeast Division.
Disproved the world was flat. I like that they worked that in there. Was that Keith Overman?
No, it was. Gosh.
You talk about a guy mailing it in his last
Man,
week. Good Lord.
My brain doesn't work the way it used to.
Pudding time.
He used to be on ESPN, then he went to the NFL Network. Rich Eisen.
Rich Eisen. There you go. Way to talk yourself through it.
Need an extra hour for this show.
Some birthdays today. Born in this state, 1903. One of the great writers, at least in my opinion, Mr. George Orwell, had some very impactful stuff. And honestly, the man can predict the future.
Yeah, 1984.
Made a hell of an album. With David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen and
George Orwell.
1984.
There you go.
Oh,
there's the joke.
Exactly.
Jump.
That's right.
Virginia Patton, born on this date, 1925. Actress, most notably known for her small role in It's a Wonderful Life, Ruth Dakin Bailey. I was going to have you pull that. I found it unbelievable because she just passed away. She was 97 years old. One of the last remaining adults from that movie to still be alive. The founder of the Smurfs, the creator, an Austrian fellow by the name of Peyo. Just one name.
One name?
Yeah. Did you find anything on him?
I sure did.
The Smurfs were created by Belgian cartoonist Peyo way back in 1958, whose real name was Pierre Colliford. And the Smurfs actually stemmed from a comic strip called Johann and Peewit, which started in 1947, and that story was set in the Middle Ages in an unnamed European kingdom.
A year before the Smurfs were created, the word Smurf appeared during a lunch between Peyo and Andre Franquin on holiday. And a year later, when these characters appeared in Johann and Peewit, he had the idea of calling them the Smurfs. They're blue. They don't look Asian or African or European. They're blue. They're unusual. They're unique. They're ecological because they live in the woods.
They're ecological because they live in the woods. And you know what? None of them wear shirts.
Smurfette doesn't she?
She wears a dress.
Oh, a dress.
But none of the Smurfs wear shorts or shirts. And Papa Smurf, he wears red. And the rest of them wear white. They do wear those little hats.
I had no idea how deep of a dive we'd do on the Smurfs this morning.
Well, listen, Smurfs are here to stay. Born on this date, 1942, the center for the New York Knicks. We lost him 2 years ago, Mr. Willis Reed.
I think we see Willis coming out. There he comes right now. 6'10" from Grambling, the captain of the Knicks and most valuable player of the NBA. Frazier then slows it down, is picked up by Jerry West at the top of the post. Reed. Willis Reed scores the first bucket here tonight. And Reed now is outside. There's his second shot. He is 2 for 2. Willis Reed.
Do you know how many minutes he played in that game?
Oh, about 5.
He only scored the first bucket. And
first two, scored 4, and then limped off, and he was named series MVP.
I think he played 27 minutes that game.
He did not.
Look it up, Shark.
No, he played and then did not go back in.
Okay.
At least
you look it up.
I'll look it up.
This is you look it up.
Game 7. What year?
1970.
And the Knicks have only won, 2 titles? Or 1? Is that the only one?
They won 73.
Yeah,
1970, May 8th, 1970.
You think they have all that in there?
I've got the box score right here. Willis Reed played 27 minutes.
Okay.
4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist.
That's amazing, Tito. You're the smartest man I know. Honestly,
you just stumped the shark.
I looked it up yesterday because I can't remember why I looked it up. I looked up for a reason.
I looked at.
I can't remember why I looked it up. There's a reason. I must have heard something or seen something, or whatever. I looked it up though.
Make sure the Iron Dome was working in Israel.
I was shocked that he played 20. I thought like you guys. I thought he played like 5 minutes. And that was it. He played 27.
The amazing thing is that Game 7 of the NBA Finals was on May. What'd you say?
9th or something
May
like that.
8th?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Now they play that in the middle of June. Carly Simon turning 82 today.
You're so vain.
Yes.
You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain.
All right, Shark. Who is that song about?
He knows it.
Well, it's one of 3 people. It's
Yes.
either Mick Jagger or James Taylor or Warren Beatty.
I think I heard Warren Beatty.
She won't reveal it until after she dies.
How is she?
That'll be a trick.
Does she have it like in a?
She sold it to somebody.
Oh, really?
And he's not allowed to reveal it until after her death.
Well, was Warren Beatty still alive?
Warren Beatty
He's
is, yes.
still-
Yeah, he's
So
still
all
alive.
3 of those guys
All
are
three
still alive.
alive. Yeah.
Well, if all 3 of them died before her,
Then she should reveal it,
then
yeah.
she should be able to reveal it.
Right. I would think. Got some claws in that thing.
Oh, fair enough. Dikembe Mutombo, born on this date, 1966. Unfortunately, he has passed away as well. And then George Michael, my father figure, born on this date, 1963.
Well, I guess it would be nice
Oh.
if I could touch your body. I know not everybody has got a body like you.
Why didn't you tell me, father figure? I would have put that on
It's
there,
all right.
huh?
Faith is a good one, too.
That's good.
I enjoy it. I mean, wake me up before you go. I mean, that's
a great video, too.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Ridgely.
Unfortunately, couldn't bring him along for the party.
Nope.
Some passings today. General George Custer, as I mentioned, in 1876. Jacques Cousteau in 1997. Farrah Fawcett in 2009.
I'm John McQuilkin. As unofficial spokesperson of Hollywood, it is with great sadness today that I report that we lost 2 legends. Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett both died today. Farrah Fawcett was diagnosed with rectal cancer back in 2006, which then spread to her liver. She fought a very brave fight, but she died this morning at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. And then the most shocking news of all, Michael Jackson died today at 12:30 p.m. Paramedics were called to his house. He was in cardiac arrest. They could not revive him. They brought him to UCLA Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead.
When I was 6 years old for my birthday, my parents got me 2 posters. One was the King Kong movie poster from when that was released back then, and the other one was the Farrah Fawcett bathing suit one. At the age of 6. That's why I'm screwed up, Shark.
I had that poster as well. I had Cheryl Tiegs on my wall. I had Suzanne Summers, who I didn't really think was the sex symbol that Farrah was.
No.
But and then I had Mark Spitz with the 7 gold medals around his neck.
Did you have any posters hanging in your carpeted van?
No, I didn't have a carpeted van.
I thought you said you had one.
I
time.
later had a minivan when I started having kids.
That's good. Some holidays and observances today. It is Color TV Day. It's Day of the Seafarer Day for Mr. Jacques Cousteau. Global Beatles Day as well. Mitch Lane Day. National Catfish Day. Strawberry Parfait Day. Virginia Statehood Day as well. And those are historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date. Wednesday, June 25th, 176th day of the year. 189 days remaining in the last Wednesday for Mark the Shark.
Do you guys think that Manti Te'o celebrates National Catfish Day?
That might be one of the funnier things you've said that off.
I got a lot of witty comments there, Bob. You got to keep up. Coming up next, a couple of recent statements made by superstars. Which one do we believe the least? That's next. Morning Juice.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I. And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
In honor of all those we've lost to cancer and those still fighting and thriving, like basketball analyst and cancer champion Dick Vitale.
I want to beat cancer. I'm going to beat it. That's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to win this battle.
Defeating cancer will take all of us. Join our team to help fund game-changing research that saves lives. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over the odds. V is for victory over health disparities, victory over setbacks, victory over the unknown. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate to the V Foundation to join our team and help save lives.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul.
100% of donations fund game-changing cancer research. Donate now to the V Foundation at v.org.
Bobby is the all-American male. Tito pulled a hammy getting his mail. This is Morning Juice.
All right, Morning Juice. Join Rothman and Ice this Friday for a special live broadcast. We kick off the 2025 Beat the Heat Fan Drive. The guys we live from Westerville Fire Station at 400 West Main Street. We're asking you to help a neighbor in need. Bring a new box fan to donate, and as a thank you, the first 100 people who drop off a fan will get a pair of tickets to the Cardale Jones charity softball game at Huntington Park on July 19th. Help Central Ohio stay cool this summer. It's the Beat the Heat Fan Drive in partnership with 10 TV, Life Care Alliance, and The Fan, Ohio sports destination. I'm doing the MC, like I'm calling the home run derby again this year out there and calling the game on The Fan there.
Oh, that sounds tremendous.
I'm telling you, Bobby, I had so much fun doing it. I tried to come up with so many different home run calls.
Back. Did you do the Berman?
I didn't do. I didn't do Berman. I did say "Hola, me llamo es ball, adios," something like that. I did ones like that.
Well done.
I spent too much. I spent more time prepping for that than I do for a show. Trying to come up with all these different ones to come. I had them all listed out. That's a good one. So I get to do it again.
Did
This
anyone
year.
call with you?
What's that?
Was anyone there with you?
Yeah, it was Dane last year.
Dane?
Yeah, but Dane's playing this year, so I don't know who's going to be working with me. But
well, I mean, Pete Rose is player manager. I mean,
that's a good point.
He's only going to be up there every once in a while.
I loved that we had like some of the players come on. That's when I first met Will Howard, and he spent a lot of time with us. Laurinaitis came over and talked to us for a while. I love that as well. So I'm sure we'll get that. I think Teddy Ginn's supposed to be out there this year. He's going to play this year.
That'll be good.
You're not playing it this year, are you?
No, they didn't ask me to. So, you know what? I played in that thing for 4 or 5 years, and my retirement, I think, was appropriate.
Last night, yesterday, I had to go out and buy new underwear.
Where are you going with this?
And I'm getting ready to leave, and Heather said, "What size are you getting?" And I said, "Well, I always get extra large."
You get an aspirational size, or
she said,
"Was it a pull-up or a diaper?"
Listen,
Depends.
by the way, pot kettle on that one. So she said, "What size are you getting?" I said, "I'm getting extra large." And she said, "Why?" She said, "You're a lot smaller down there now." And I said, "Don't ever say that to a man." She said, no, I mean your weight. You lost weight, so you should probably get a large instead of an extra large. But I was very offended. She said to me, you're a lot smaller down there now. That part bothered me. What are we going to talk about here? Oh, I want to do this first because the Reds are going to take the series from the Yankees. They won 5-4 in 11 innings last night. Chase Burns struck out the first 5 hitters he faced. First time it's happened in the expansion era with the rookie making his first start, striking out the first 5 batters he faced.
1961 was the expansion era.
Struck out 6 in the first 2 innings.
First 6 outs
were all strikeouts. Yeah.
And that's happened twice before.
Yes. And he did get roughed up. The second time through the lineup, he got roughed up a little bit, but the Reds come back and win that game. They play tonight at 7:10 to wrap up that series. Guardians lost 10-6 to the Blue Jays. They play tonight at 6:40. What else do I want to get? Oh, I do this, Bobby. Aaron Rodgers was on McAfee, and he said he's pretty sure this will be his final season.
Yeah.
What is more likely? Or I don't know, we can go more. What do you think is going to? Which one do you think will happen? Is more likely to happen? This being Rodgers' last season, or LeBron not playing in the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles? They both made these statements. LeBron said that.
I think it's more likely that Aaron Rodgers doesn't play after this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think if he has a great year, if the Steelers have a great season, does that make it more or less likely he comes back?
I would say more.
Think so?
Yeah, I would say more that he'll probably want to come back if things are trending in the right direction, and you feel like there's a viable shot and pathway for you to be able to go win.
Right.
Because at this point, like if you're in the career, I've said this a million times, like you get paid a lot to play football, but football is probably, there might be a degree to it in hockey, but you cannot mail it in football. Like guys do, and it is blatantly obvious when they joked like they retired and didn't tell anybody.
Right.
Because it's too hard of a game. Like to be able to prepare all season long, to be able to work at, to be able to grind at. Like if you're not all in on it, it's going to be obvious. And you can't go through it with half your heart in it. It's just too hard. So I think if they have and when you're losing, it's really tough. And so I think if they're winning, that gives you a little more juice. And so that might help kind of push some things forward. So if they're winning, I think that there would be that excitement level from him to continue to keep playing.
I have sold myself on Rodgers for this year. Like,
well, what was your other option?
No, I'm saying I sold myself it's going to be a good year for Rodgers. I'm saying
that's my point. You better, because that's the only option you got.
I looked at the stats for the last 10 games last year.
They were good.
18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
I told people he can still play. He just needs protected.
Yes, and I think the Steelers' offensive line will be healthy this year. So I am now buying into that one. Are you? You hear the phrase, someone wanting to go out on top, as opposed to fading poorly and then leaving. I used to be a guy who's like, go ahead, leave on really good terms, like leave after Elway after winning 2 Super Bowls or whatever. Don't leave like Willie Mays out there stumbling around in the outfield with the Mets.
Where would you put Peyton Manning's retirement in?
You did it the right way. That's how I would have felt. But I'm saying, like,
he needed to retire.
He did. No, he did.
Could not have played.
Elway could have played.
Could have played. Yes, could have done that. But my point is, I think I've changed as I've gotten older.
If I can change,
you can change. We all can change. Everyone. It's a great movie.
That is a terrible impersonation, though.
I don't get paid to do impersonations, Bob.
There are 2 guys in this.
What do you get paid for?
That's a great question. I'm not going to ask. I don't want to know the answer. But, Bobby, now it's like I'm okay if guys stick around. I'm okay because I want to see, like, Albert Pujols was somebody who I loved watching as a player, and he certainly.
Do you enjoy watching your favorite players in the twilight of their career be a shadow of what they were?
No.
That makes you feel
I don't
good.
enjoy being a shadow. I enjoy, though,
It's like eating a cookie that you love that's 4 weeks stale, and you're like, I know you look like the same cookie, and you should taste the same, but yet you're not. You're dry and brittle and awful.
I like the chance of greatness happening again. Tiger, the Masters.
I think in individual sports like that, it's a little easier to see, and you can have that happen, and like in golf or in tennis, like guys putting it together. In like team stuff, and especially sports that are like you're contingent upon so many moving parts around you. It's really hard to see those guys go out the way that they want. Like Tiger Woods was it 19 when he won his last Masters? Yeah, it was iconic to watch. It was tremendous. He's out there, and I'm watching it with my son. And I remember watching his first victory at Augusta when he just lapped the field with my dad, and just sitting there thinking, well, this guy's going to win 1,000 majors. And then getting a chance to see his final one and him kind of be everything that you thought he would be and just get ravaged by injuries and time. But there is something that's nostalgic about that. But the problem is you watch so much of that to see it happen so little.
Sure, yeah.
So little. And generally, you're just often disappointed with what you're seeing out there. And it's not, people are like, you should retire so that they go on top and we don't have to see them fade. I'm like, well, if guys still love to play and someone's still willing to give them a job, like they don't know anything else and they love doing it. But because I do agree with you that I enjoy the nostalgia of being able to see the very end, but you just see it so little, and then usually it just taints your image and your memory of what that player used to be. Like even watching Peyton win that last Super Bowl, I mean, he's out there with a noodle arm, like shot putting the ball 14 yards to the sideline to two of the best receivers in the game to be able to have a chance to win.
And he got benched the season they won the Super Bowl and then came back. Isn't that right?
Well, he got hurt.
Didn't he get benched?
He got hurt. Who was the tall guy?
The Osweiler. Like, I think people call him the Brockweiler.
Brockweiler,
That's a good one.
Former Cleveland Brown.
He was at Peyton Manning's retirement party. What is
he, like
not
6'7"?
He was at DeMarcus. He was there for DeMarcus's.
Okay.
'Cause he was there that year I went, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you were at Denver with DeMarcus.
Was he wearing like a suit with $100 bills? He looked like Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
$1 Million Man.
That dude made so much money for being a bad quarterback. Osweiler did. But like I remember when Johnny Bench was retiring, and they had Johnny Bench night. I think in my mind, I think it was his last game. I'm guessing it was at Riverfront Stadium there. But he had hit a home run that game, and he hit it right out to a sign in left field that said, "God bless Johnny Bench." There was a big banner there. They had some, when you people put banners out there and stuff like that, they'd hand drawn, "God bless Johnny Bench," and it almost hit that. And I think that's
He's
probably
playing third base, right?
He caught that last game.
Oh, did he?
He did catch at least for a few innings, I think. I don't think he played the entire game back there, but he did not have a good year that year, or the year before was not that great either. But like that kind of moment there is what I wanted to see. Is see something like that. And yes, you're right, Bobby. It's tougher in team sports, but do
you remember Jordan's final All-Star game with the Wizards?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he makes the baseline jumper, and it's supposed to kind of be winning the game and everything. Mm-hmm. And then I forget who went down and scored, and they kind of ruined it. Right. For him.
Yeah, right.
So, like, you see that, but that's competition. Like, that's how it works. Not everybody gets the Derek Jeter final All-Star game treatment where
the Jeter when he gets
they threw him the watermelon down the middle of the.
That was Ripken, right? Ripken got the homer in the All-Star game. Jeter had the base hit to win the game.
Oh,
that's what it was
in his last game.
Last at bat.
So Jeter's was legit then. You think?
I don't know if it's legit or not. That might be.
The Cal Ripken one was like they were watching.
You knew it. Yeah, you knew that was good. That was fake. That was all staged.
That was fake.
That was all staged. I was thinking the other day, Bobby.
Don't do that too much.
No, listen. How stupid were we? How gullible were we? Like 30 and 40 years ago, buying CDs and cassettes. We put so much faith in bands. We'd hear like one song or two songs on the radio and go and buy it.
That was the only way that you could listen to it if you wanted to hear that song. Or you could dub it off the radio, which is what I used to do and make my own mixtapes.
But I felt like such a sucker going in and buying, like I hear one or two songs by band.
$16.99.
Right, and there's only two songs you like on the whole thing.
Well.
We are in such a better place now in society, and I don't care if the artist gets screwed.
Listen.
In that regard. I'm not saying overall, but I'm not making like a big...
Yeah, but you used to have the iconic album art that was associated with it. I mean, there was just a lot of things that were very iconic.
Yes, album covers. How about ticket stubs?
You don't ticket stubs.
Ticket stubs.
Yeah.
Now everything's on your phone.
Yeah, I have a lot of movie stubs, ticket stubs.
Do you have movie stubs?
I do.
Oh yeah, from for the first movie. I think I have my ticket stubs from the first concert Court and I went to. Like, I have movie stubs from, like, middle school.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I have my receipt it's faded now, from my rookie dinner in Dallas. You can hardly see any of it, but yeah.
So rookie, was it just you paying for everybody? Was the rookies all put together?
It was. They did. Every team does it different, but we did offense, defense, and so was the defense there. And we had Jason Hatcher was a 3rd-round pick. We had a 6th-round pick, and so I'm trying to think what the total meal
That's what I want to know.
To. It wasn't crazy. It was like $10,000 or $11,000, and we had a pretty good rookie class. And so the vets kicked in, like some guys like threw in $500-600.
Right.
So I want to say we got like another $2,000. We ended up paying about 10. I think I ate about 6 of it. And then like our 3rd-round pick kicked in like $1,500, and then our 5th-round pick threw like $1,000. We had a couple free agents that made the team that put like $500. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't bad because we had a good group of vets, and the rookies were all good guys that people liked that did what they were supposed to do. And that was my parting message to all of the guys here as they've been back working out. I go, be a good rookie, and they'll take care of you. If you want to be a jerk and fight the system, not carry pads, not do the things that they tell you to do, well, then they're going to kill you. And they're probably not going to help you like on the field or in the locker room, like in the meeting room as well.
Just spitballing here. But I know he's not a rookie. He or she is not a rookie. That's going to be coming over here on July 2nd. Do you think, though, the individual is kind of a rookie, though, for this format and this show? Do you think
we should shave his head?
We should have him start carrying stuff in for the first week or so and also take us to dinner?
I don't know. I'm not going to do that. I'm just happy that he's going to be joining us.
He or she?
He or she, yes.
Yeah, we're not going to don't want to reveal it too much. I think that'd be a good idea, though. I think there should be some hazing. I think there should be some rookie dues being paid. That's just me, though.
So here's the thing: if you do a good job, then there is no hazing that usually happens. It's a little bit early on, and then it's over with because you're a vital member of the team at that point.
We are going to go Roy Jones Jr., young Roy Jones Jr. style next. Quick hitters.
Lexi spent more than 6 years in foster care.
Before I was adopted, I felt alone.
With help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Lexi now has a forever family and the foundation for a bright future.
Adoption changed me for the better. I feel like I can be whoever I want to be.
You can help find permanent homes for children still lingering in foster care. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Within 15 seconds of logging onto social media, the algorithm has your daughter in its crosshairs. It sends her a steady flow of images telling her she isn't thin enough, pretty enough. They invade her brain, causing body dysmorphia, anxiety, depression, leading to the worst rates of eating disorders, self-harm, and suicide we have ever known. All while she's sitting right next to you on her phone. Congress knows, but it refuses to act. Don't let her suffer the secret pain alone. Use your voice. Demand a plan. Join us at the Center for Countering Digital Hate, protectingkidsonline.org, because it's up to you to protect your children from social media nightmares. Join us for her, for your daughter.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Attack and dominate, YouTubers. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Good morning, Shark. Let's do some quick hitters.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
Good morning, gentlemen. Some players bet on themselves. Others don't want to risk it. When he was a 17-year-old minor leaguer, Fernando Tatis Jr. signed a deal with Big League Advance, a company that offers players an upfront payment in exchange for a percentage of their future earnings. Back then, Tatis got $2 million from BLA in exchange for 10% of his future earnings.
Oh, man, what a great investment.
Big mistake. In 2021, Tatis was by then a pretty big star for the Padres, signed a 14-year contract worth $340 million. That means he owes $34 million to BLA. Tatis spent the $2 million upfront money on, among other things, a nice house. Now he is suing BLA for using predatory tactics to lure him into an investment deal that was an illegal loan. Tito, BLA says it wasn't a loan. Tatis got his money up front, and if he hadn't reached the big leagues, wouldn't have owed BLA anything.
Is it predatory? Probably. But so much things go on in that way are predatory. I mean, you're trying to take advantage of the player before he gets big.
Are you taking advantage of him? Because you're betting on the fact
what if the player doesn't do anything?
Jack Mewhort, they used to do this in football. And football is a much lower hit rate because you have injury risk that's more significant, and the contracts aren't guaranteed. And so Jack Mewhort did this, and he ended up getting hurt, and I think he only played like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And so he told me how much he got from that. I was like, he goes, yeah, it was a heck of a deal for me. And I'm like, so Tatis can cry all he wants, dude. You wanted $2 million in a nice house. You didn't want to wait for it. And so you wanted it up front. And in an instant gratification society, they gave it to you, and you got it. But in doing so, you then have to pay them back. So it wasn't predatory lending. They gave you upfront dollars that if he broke his leg or he blew out his elbow or couldn't play anymore, they're out.
Yeah, I see your point on that, Bob. It's
the only point to make.
No, but I thought Tatis was highly touted, I believe.
Dude, so was Josh Hamilton.
Yeah.
Now, he ended up getting there, but, I mean, think if you would have done this with Josh Hamilton, Shark. Like, we picked the guy who's a drug addict.
Right.
I mean, like, it could be anything. Anything could happen.
So this is interesting that he's trying to
Think about Grady Sizemore.
All the ladies love Grady.
So do the injuries.
He was hurt quite a bit. Tatis, though, his thing, the fact it's all going to depend on what they're calling this. They're calling it a loan, or if they're calling
it wasn't a loan, though.
I know. That's his argument, though. I know, yeah.
The people that wrote this stuff are very smart.
Yeah.
They knew what. Now, they weren't smart enough not to get into football, but they did realize quickly that they don't need to be in football,
right.
So they figured that out. I guarantee you, worded this very well. Now, some of it will depend on the judge, everything else. This might be some sort of Supreme Court case that ultimately gets
I think that's what
the dollars are big in this, and it's very visible.
And he's 17.
He's 17, but it wasn't a loan because he didn't have to pay it back. They bought basically a portion of his future contracts in exchange for dollars today.
What I thought was predatory-ish, I'll back myself up a little bit on that one, is that he was 17.
Yeah, he's the son of a major leaguer, though. Where was Dad?
Probably cashing checks, breaking necks and cashing checks.
Right.
What were you doing? What do you got next for, Shark?
I'm going with Bobby on this one. I don't have a lot of sympathy for him.
He was 17, Shark.
I get that. So what are you saying?
It wasn't. Here's the thing.
He shouldn't have taken the money.
They shouldn't have talked to him.
You know how baseball is, the first overall pick in the draft, let alone the 100th pick, there's no guarantee in baseball that you even get out of the minor leagues.
Absolutely, no doubt, yeah.
So I would be tempted as a 17-year-old to take $2 million.
I would feel better about this if he was 18 when he did it, not 17.
Okay, so it's the age thing.
The age thing is what I'm looking at.
Folsom, California, 5-star high school quarterback Ryder Lyons got offers
Ryder
from
Lyons?
Ryder Lyons, a great name for a football player.
An adult film star.
He got offers from a bunch of colleges, including Oregon and Southern Cal, but he was offered a scholarship by BYU while in the 8th grade and now has chosen to play his college football for the Cougars. Lyons is the first 5-star to commit to BYU since 24/7 Sports started rating prospects in 2010. He's the 4th-ranked quarterback in the class of 2026 and the number 13 overall prospect. He was the 2024 California Gatorade Player of the Year when he threw for 46 touchdowns and ran for 14 more. Bobby, he will not be available in 2026. Got to sit out a year because as part of his enrollment at BYU, has to serve a 1-year LDS mission. Isn't that amazing?
He might be knocking on a door near you, Shark.
Latter-day Saints. God bless him for being so committal.
Well, they were getting guys. They were doing the not the portal, but basically having the super seniors long before. Schlegs always said, he's like, dude, you're playing like 24-year-olds out there.
Yes.
He's like, I'm
married
19.
with 3 kids.
So you get these guys that go away for 2 years, come back, 26 as a senior. But this is awesome for BYU. And this, honestly, is what NIL has done to this. I mean, they can pay him. They committed to him. He committed back to them. They're obviously, I would guess, taking care of him in a big way. And so kudos to him for sticking with him. Like, that's pretty awesome. And now you're seeing, like, the talent disperse a little bit and be not nearly as concentrated as it was probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, BYU got the top basketball recruit, too.
Is that right?
Yeah, they got the top one. That happened a little while ago. But, yeah, they ended up getting the number one player. I don't know if I read that he was sitting out or not, though, for a year. I mean, does every athlete that goes there, or does everybody goes there have to do?
You're supposed to. I think everyone has to do a mission.
I know
what
that,
I've been told.
I remember. Yeah, could you imagine when Sean Bradley was there? Sean Bradley went on a mission, too.
What's he up to?
He's only about 4 foot.
He's not nearly as tall as he used to be. But, by the way, no, I'm not going to do it. I was going to
say this is your reason for not riding a bike?
No, I was going to say something about beating him in a sport. But
I thought you were going to make the, this is why I don't ride bikes.
I'm not going to cross that line, Bob. But could you imagine that guy 7'6", whatever, show up at your door, knocking on your door and trying to do that? Yeah, it's you're right. NIL's changing all this. Something else I realized about BYU. I realized this a couple years ago when I'd be up late watching BYU football games, usually chasing. How many Hawaiian players are on BYU?
Oh, they've got a ton Hawaiian. Dude, they have a ton of
Polynesians.
That off is the preferred nomenclature.
They're from Samoa. They're from
yes,
Fiji.
dude, and never call.
They are from Hawaii.
That's why I'm saying they're Hawaiian.
Some. But don't ever call a Samoan Hawaiian.
Okay, listen, though. No, they're from Hawaii, though, Bobby. They're from Hawaii. I'm saying, because they've got like a campus out there. Like we have like Ohio State, Newark. They've got a BYU.
I understand that, but you do realize that there's a good portion of them that are also Samoan.
Okay, but they also have a lot of Hawaiians.
That may be very well true, but just
I wasn't going to cover
the
every
term
base.
Polynesian is more culturally acceptable. I feel like I'm in the Big Lebowski right here.
Wait.
The amazing thing is how they got to Hawaii.
They paddled from a Samoa.
Now, you know Hawaii is out in the middle of the Pacific.
No, that's how they got from Hawaii to Samoa. I think Samoans are
it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why the Samoans
Does that change your opinion? Oh, never mind.
No, but they were in like basically glorified canoes.
Yes, and they paddled over there. And that's why they always say the Samoans, like, why are this, for an island of 40,000 people, how do they produce such like strong players? I'm like, well, because if you didn't, only the strongest made it across. Like, let's be real about that. Like, if you're paddling through the middle of the Pacific Ocean, when I say middle, it's like 1,000 miles, crazy distance.
But was it downstream?
Downstream. Get out of here.
Go faster. Wait, you think I was wrong for calling them Hawaiians? For saying the BYU has a lot of Hawaiians? Was I wrong on that one?
because I played with Samoans. You don't get a whole lot of Samoans or Polynesians in Central Ohio.
Right.
And so when I got to Texas, I remember talking to guys about that, and they were very adamant about it. And I said, I can respect that. I said, okay.
But did they arrive at BYU from Hawaii usually?
I don't know. They were most of the guys that I knew in the NFL were Samoan, not Hawaiian.
Okay.
They grow their hair long too. They don't cut their hair.
Oh, The Rock did.
The Rock?
Yeah.
He's Samoan?
I don't
know. The Hockey Hall of Fame announced its class of 2025 yesterday. It's a nice group going into the Toronto Shrine this year. In the class is Zdeno Chara, Joe Thornton, Duncan Keith. Chara holds the NHL record for games played by a defenseman, won a Stanley Cup with Boston. Thornton ranks 14th all-time in points, and Tito Keith helped the Blackhawks win 3 Stanley Cups in a span of 6 years.
Let me tell you what excited me about seeing that class. Alexander Mogilny getting in.
I don't even know who that is.
He was drafted the same year the Blue Jackets entered the league, I believe.
No.
Mogilny.
The reason I like Mogilny is how good he was on NHL 94.
On
the Sega Genesis.
Obviously.
That dude had a lot of speed. If you couldn't be Gretzky because the guy you were playing was the Kings or whatever, or you couldn't be the Blackhawks with Rennick and make Gretzky's head bleed, if you couldn't do that, Mogilny was or the Red Wings, but Mogilny, though, was like the sneaky fast guy. And you take the line changes off, because I don't believe in line changes. You just skate the whole game. He was so fast, though, and he was that was my hockey knowledge. And maybe it still is in some ways, but he should have long ago been in the Sega Genesis NHL 94 Hall of Fame, as far as I'm concerned. Bob,
I don't even know who that dude is.
You don't even need to add anything.
We're talking about Sega Genesis, dude.
Zdeno Chara was 6'9",
he was big.
7 foot on
super tall
skates.
How tall is he on skates? Do we know?
7.
Really?
7 foot. Tallest player ever in the NHL.
I'm checking out this BYU roster right now. I'm seeing a lot of people from Hawaii.
I'm not saying that there's
Polynesia.
Polynesia.
I'm looking at this here. There's a lot of Hawaiians on this, though. Hometowns, Sunset Beach, Hawaii.
You know who the last king of Hawaii was?
Who the last king of Scotland was?
Was it Don Ho?
No, it was Kamehameha. Kamehameha.
How do you know that?
I don't know.
He learned it in school. He's a learned man.
Crossword puzzles.
Coming up next, there's been a huge accusation leveled by a pair of respected reporters. We'll do that next. Morning Juice.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. I care deeply about creating a world we can all fully participate in, free from stigma, misperceptions, and barriers. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Rooted in communities nationwide, Easter Seals helps empower millions of people, regardless of age or disability, through its life-changing services and powerful advocacy. Today and every day, Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Bobby played for the Dallas Cowboys. Tito wears assless chaps. I'm dead sexy. You're locked into Morning Juice.
I don't want to fight on the air today, Bobby. All right? So I'm just going to do the read, and then we'll move on to the next subject, because this got ugly yesterday. It got contentious. We had to call in a person from outside the radio station to help us out with this. Join us Friday night for the Blue Jackets draft special on The Fan. Bob McGillicuddy and Dylan Tyre will be live from Nationwide Arena as the Jackets look to add some exciting new talent to the lineup. It all starts Friday at 6. The Blue Jackets draft special, sponsored by Ohio Health, only on The Fan, Ohio sports destination. It's possible I profiled because I thought The Rock was from Hawaii because he was in Moana. He voiced a character in Moana.
Yes, that's
probably why I thought he was.
Did you think that Yul Brynner was actually Egyptian too?
Until just this moment, yes.
I mean,
also,
you realize that they would. Like, they used to have like white people play all these ethnic minority parts in movies back in the day.
They did. And also, we forgot to mention Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Another one that probably, what do you think, Hawaiian, Samoan, Polynesian, Chicagoan? What do you think Superfly Snuka was?
I don't even know who that is.
You know who he is, don't you?
No.
The wrestler? Oh, God, what is wrong with you guys? Don't ever say I don't watch movies or the good things. I'm telling you right now, Superfly, he was on Piper's Pit with Roddy Piper. You know who Roddy Piper is, right?
Roddy Piper.
Yes, on his talk show he had during the wrestling. And he one time was mocking Superfly and busted a coconut on his head. And that was like a famous moment in wrestling. I don't know why I'm talking to you guys. That's a podcast, I guess.
Do you think the coconut was already cracked?
Most stuff that happens in wrestling is real, so probably not. I bet it was probably hard.
The coconut broke on his head, just like the tables break on their back, and people are like, "Oh, they saw him." I'm like, "Okay, you want me to sit there and hit you with a table that's been sawed a little bit?" But after watching that, I was like, "Man, that stuff that hurts."
I don't know how I can focus now after you guys not knowing who Superfly Snuka was.
I know Snooki.
See, I'm watching real sports, and you're watching Jersey Shore.
I didn't say I watched her. I just said I know who that is.
Mike Florio and Pablo Torre came out. Actually, Pablo Torre was the first with it, but he and Florio, they were having, I saw it's an awful announcing, kind of a friendly competition who could get the story first. And this was on Florio's ProFootballTalk.com is where it was where they talked about this. But apparently, Bobby, there's evidence that the NFL Management Council, Roger Goodell, and the owners colluded on paying out less guaranteed money, after the Deshaun Watson thing. Now, the NFL, I'm sure you know this, Management Council is a nonprofit that represents the negotiations for the NFL with the collective bargaining agreement with the NFL Players Association. And the article is stating that Goodell talked to the Management Council and they colluded on this, and they got in front of the arbitrator and had some kind of, they had a way of convincing the arbitrator to rule in their favor on this. But how damning would this be if I know what happened in Baseball Shark, in 87?
It was when Uberoth was commissioner.
Yes.
85 maybe. Peter Uberoth.
Yes.
Uberoth?
Yeah. When a bunch of free agents weren't getting offers.
Was it when Giamatti was there, though?
Not during that 6 month.
Before that.
Yeah, it was before that.
That's the only one I know other than Bud Selig. Now that you told me that was Paul Giamatti's dad.
Uberoth was the, I don't know what you call him, chairman of the 84 Olympics, Summer Olympics in L.A. He was the first one to actually, it was the first Olympics
to actually take a bribe?
Make a profit.
Oh.
Because they started selling everything, the McDonald's natatorium, and he was able to generate revenue.
According to so teams started offering less money guarantees after the Deshaun Watson debacle. As a matter of fact, it says here that
he ruined it for everybody, is what really happened.
NFLPA President J.C. Tretter, and this is on Awful Announcing, repeatedly insulted Russell Wilson for getting the extension he got with the Broncos later. Didn't have as much guaranteed money as Tretter thought Wilson should be getting, and even according to this, referred to Wilson as a wuss over his failure to secure a fully guaranteed contract from the Broncos. So, if this actually happened, Bobby, if the owners colluded to not give as much in guarantees, if that is proven beyond a reasonable doubt, how damning is that for the league?
Here's the thing, and this is what was ironic with the internet when I saw this yesterday, because Florio was pointing out like the stories on ESPN. It's like not even a mention of it. I'm like, I don't even know what he was talking about. Most people probably don't care about this a lot.
Because it doesn't affect us.
Because it doesn't impact their life. If you're a fan, you're thinking, how does this impact me? So that's how I always try to look at this. As a player, yeah, I mean, and it might a little bit as a fan. Because like, hey, if guys are getting guaranteed contracts, does that change the way people structure stuff? Does it change the way the league is going to run? How long guys are going to be on my team or whatever it's going to be? But to the average person, it doesn't really matter. And so when I look at that, I'm like, okay, I get it. I find it to be important. I think it's pertinent information. It's something that people have been battling with for a while. Players should probably find a better way to market it and package the information to fans. Because if anybody said in your job, well, you could be making twice what you're making now, but the 3 companies that you all apply to said that we're only going to offer you half of that.
Right.
And they all talked to each other and said, well, you go work wherever you want, but we're only going to offer you half of what you probably could make if we were independently bidding against each other. So, I mean, that's how it would impact normal people. But these numbers are so big with players, most people look at it and say, how does that really impact me? How does this affect me? And so I get that from that perspective. I think it's a really bad look for the league and maybe a bad look for the players. If did the ruling come out about this? I thought the ruling came down.
The ruling, well, they came down. There was a. Let me find the article here again for you. But yeah, there's a. I gotta find it out, Bob. Sorry, here it is. Let's see. Yeah, the ruling did come down. Sorry, that did come down. Yes, there was.
The rule that there wasn't collusion. And so that was what was more damning was the fact that the players weren't able to prove that, which they should have been able to do, given the information they had and some of the public comments that were made by some of the ownership groups and management.
So, apparently there's a document. Pablo Torre got a document that shows what went on, and the arbitrator Christopher Droney said there's little question the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees and veterans contracts at the March 2022 annual owners meeting.
Okay, that should be all that you need. Do you want the smoking gun? I mean, that thing has a hot barrel right there.
And you're right.
Not a Carl, but a barrel.
You're right, Bobby, that, and myself included, I looked, it's like, well, okay, so you got $90 million instead of $120 million guaranteed. Okay, tough life. But I know it's a very like a shallow way to look at it, but I wonder though what will happen next now, because this document being out there, this being out, like what what's going to happen with the players now? What's going to happen with Goodell? I mean, I know you've always I don't say railed against. You're not a big fan of Goodell.
Well, he's a shill for the owners, but that's his job. So, like, he does his job well. He makes $80 million a year, $60 million a year. I mean, good for him. People are like, when's he going to retire? I'm like, why would you retire from that? If we were paying Shark, less, what do we pay, about half that, Shark?
About a third, actually.
Okay, so we're paying you a third, so about $20 million a year, $25 million a year. But you keep working for that. But he does exactly what the owners want. He's grown revenue. He has kept the league at peace. They've continued to play. They're adding games. They're playing every night of the week. The draft travels around like Barnum and Bailey. I mean, everybody, like, what's not to like if you're an owner?
Do you think, would you be surprised if you found out other sports did this? In some way, shape, or form, colluded a little bit. Like, do you think there's...
No, because I don't think any of the other leagues, the owners have as much power as they do in the NFL.
I wonder, like...
Because in every other league, that off the average duration of players' career is significantly longer. So people can take firmer stands when it comes to labor disputes. Most of the guys in the NFL, I mean, they're in there for 3 years. So they're thinking, man, I'm not going to sit out for a whole year and waste my earning potential. Especially if you're a guy that's at the bottom of the roster. It's like, I'm making $1 million this year. So if we don't play this year, then next year I'm not gonna make that up. It's not like I'm maybe going to get another year for it. And how much more am I going to make from this? So that's why they've never really had the ability, at least in the last 25 years, to get any substantive progress.
The thing in baseball, I think you're right, Char. It happened in '85, but it was came out in '87. Then, when all the evidence came out about that, but there was Lance Parrish was one of the players who they were getting.
Robert Parrish
should have been Robert Parrish also, but they the players were not getting any substantial offers from other teams, the free agents, and so. Whereas their former team, their current team, whatever, they were becoming free agent, would offer them like a 3 or 4 year deal with significantly more money, where other teams would, I'll throw a 1 year offer at you for this much money, whatever it was. And so they ended up making those players free agents again, if I'm not mistaken, Shark, right on that one?
That's right. But there was, I guess it was a lawsuit filed, and the players won.
Yeah, the players won that one.
The owners had to pay a substantial amount of money.
And, God, I just...
The thing is, this goes to an arbiter, because the way that the NFL is structured, it's like you have to disband the union to be able to sue in court and do all those different things,
right?
Which is how they have to go about it because it's structured really well. So it goes to an arbiter. So they just make a decision, and so you're stuck with the opinion of one ruling judge.
And you're right about the thing. Like I remember the '82 strike in the NFL and the '87 strike with the NFL. And your point's great, Bobby. These guys. They've got such a short career that you don't want to miss out on a year.
That was part of the reason my dad retired, is he was finished in '86. He knew they were going to strike. He's like, dude, I've been playing 10 years. I'm not sticking around for this.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, his back was bothering him, but that was part of it. And I remember that kind of being built in. He's like, I've already been through 2 of these. I'm not going through a third.
If the players get angry enough about this, do you think that this could lead to a work stoppage?
And convince them to care. I mean,
see, I feel like if they don't, Bobby, if they don't flex their muscles with this knowledge and things like that, if they don't do something about it.
I have not heard overwhelming anger with regard to this, even though there should be. Because here's the reality of it too, is you're talking about this with all these quarterback deals, like that impacts like 20 to 30 guys in the league.
Right.
There's 1,600 players.
Yeah.
So if I'm, the third wide receiver on the team or a fourth or fifth defensive back, like what do I care about the fact that they're not? I guess the argument is like, well, you could get a fully guaranteed contract too. It would be significantly less,
right.
But that they have to convince those guys that it matters to them. Like, I'm not making $250 million guaranteed. Right. So, but we could get you $8 million guaranteed as opposed to, maybe $12 million total, but you only really see 6 or 7 of it. So that's what you have to be able to articulate to people to get them on board to be able to do things like this. And it's not easy because you have guys from all across the country from varying backgrounds at varying stages of their career that are going to have different priorities than maybe, and they're all going to have a different set of priorities.
But if the players don't stand up and do something about this, and I'm not saying they have to have a work stoppage, but if they don't flex in some way on this, it makes the Players Association look even weaker.
Yeah, I'm not debating that. Like, what you're saying is factually accurate. I just don't know if you can get people to care enough.
Yeah, you're right, because it does only affect the guaranteed part, a certain portion of a very small portion.
There's big money guarantees. Ideally, you should be able to get all contracts guaranteed. Like, the owners will never go for it. There's too high injury risk, but like they got one, and you got a huge one. And here's the problem: is that if Deshaun Watson would have led the Browns to a Super Bowl, if he would have done what Matt Stafford did, then you know what? You probably see another one.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
And then the proliferation happens. The problem is that the guy they made on was a injury riddled creeper, and they had to deal with all the public backlash of the massages and the fact that then he was hurt a lot and has never been very good.
Right, and he'll never play a significant role on the Browns. Positive role on the Browns. Significant role. He did do that. Yes, that's for sure.
This isn't like baseball, though. Baseball was to keep salaries down.
Right.
There's still a salary cap in the NFL. It's not. You are preventing maybe individual players from getting the guaranteed money, but the salary cap is still the players as a whole, as a league, are still going to make that 200 and whatever it is now per team. So it's not an attempt to keep salaries down. It's an attempt to keep guaranteed money.
Yeah, guaranteed money down. Yeah, which
is all like the math around the cap and guaranteed money. There are teams that find ways to spend their up to their cap, but actually not spend all of those dollars based upon how the contracts are structured and what happens.
The amazing thing with these collusion cases is that you've got in baseball 30 owners, in football 32 owners, and if there is a paper trail, like I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how Goodell got the word out. If it was
put it on an
mouth.
itinerary and hand it down as the talking points.
So if there's a paper trail, if somebody's got an email out there then there's the proof. But if it's word of mouth, how do you keep 32 owners who are competitive, obviously?
Right.
Some of them don't like each other, to not spill the beans and say, the commissioner told us.
Right, yeah.
Well, when they feel like that they're starting to work against each other. And all you need to look forward with that was, I was talking to Terry McLaurin about this, with what happened with Dan Snyder in Washington. And remember, all the owners were in lockstep. No one's really saying he needed to be out, he needed to sell the team, until they found out that he was siphoning off some of the ticket revenue that was supposed to go to the general fund that was distributed to all the owners. And he had backdoored some different fees and other things in there, and he was keeping some of that additional money. And so he was essentially stealing from the other owners. And then that's when you had Jim Irsay and some of the other guys started stepping up, saying, this guy's a bad guy, and the racist name of the Reds, all that stuff. None of that stuff happened until they found out that he was stealing from them. And then all of a sudden it flipped. And you know what else is crazy now? They're like talking about bringing back the logo for the Redskins. And you know what? The daughter of one of the Chiefs is like, well, we want it on there now again. I'm like, let's be honest. This wasn't about the Redskins being racist and everything, because not all, but a lot of the studies would show that an overwhelming majority of Native Americans had supported that. And it was more about the fact that Dan Snyder, and it wasn't about all the cheerleaders and all the other, it was about the fact that he ultimately was then stealing from his other owners. So that's what turned it all.
What impresses me about Goodell in this situation is you look at the wide range of owners.
Oh, it's crazy.
To get Jerry Jones and Mike Brown to agree on something.
Oh, Jerry talks trash about Mike Brown. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
it's amazing that you could pull that off. But, it's to be able to do that. And that's a great point by you, Shark, about the baseball things. They were, you're right, there's no cap there. I think NFL players, they won't do it, Bobby, but at some point they should strike for guaranteed contracts.
I mean, and here's the thing. So public sentiment, like how upset would people be about that?
Oh, yeah, they'd be
furious.
It would have such an effect, yes, on...
You're talking about the fans?
Yes.
Yeah, the fans. Yeah, the fans would be up in arms about it.
That also over here counting down the days of the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, especially if your $100 million quarterback goes out with a career-ending injury.
Right, yeah.
Hey, how is that any different than watching Halliburton or Dame Lillard or one of those guys blow their Achilles?
The difference is, obviously, in the NBA, all contracts are guaranteed, which was what would happen in the NFL. But you can still replace guys. You can go over the cap in the NBA if you want to pay luxury taxes. In the NFL, you'd be screwed.
Do you understand the cap? I'm asking this very seriously. Do you have a deep knowledge of how the cap, how teams could? They spend all this money, they're still under the cap, and the bonuses. Do you have a pretty good grasp of all of that?
Yeah, because how you contracts can be the bonus money can be prorated up to 3 years out. Yeah, I mean I've studied it, and I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it, but if I probably spend another 2 months talking to people about it who are, I feel like be pretty confident.
It's such a. There are so many different things on it that just go over my head on how they can go over the cap on different things, and I hear the numbers. They can't spend this much or whatever.
Well, they're over the cap right now, and so that's why you see teams converting salary to bonus dollars to prorate and push that money in the future, or sometimes, and that's a lot of times what they do. And if you're a player, it's like, well, I could take my salary here, and instead of, it's better for me. They're going to pay me $10 million this year. Oh, instead we'll give you $4 million in salary and an $8 million bonus because we take that 8 and then crush that out, and so it'll only hit about 3 against the cap now. If we do that to enough guys, we can create the $7 or $8 million we need in space.
Seems like every offseason when it starts, But
then you have to pay that money later. The reason that always works is, especially lately, and this is what COVID screwed it all up, is that they keep pushing money out, and the cap just has been rising so quickly every year, and that's why during COVID they had to finagle some things and figure it out, because some of the teams were in such bad shape because there was no inflation of the cap.
Every year the Saints, when the offseason starts, I hear they're $70 million over the cap or whatever. They're way over the cap, and every year they find a way to field I don't say competitive teams, they sucked last year, but they find a way to get a roster together still on that. So, all right, that was good. Again, the education continues, Bobby. I appreciate. Let me ask you this one more question before we go to break. I'm of the belief that the lack of guaranteed contracts, guaranteed money, makes the NFL a better product for fans.
There might be truth to that.
Whereas the NBA is all guaranteed, if a guy gets fat or sucks or whatever, then he still gets his money. Same thing in baseball with all the contracts.
Well, look what's going on with the Celtics now.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum is out for the season with that Achilles, and he's making whatever it is, $60 million. So Drew Holiday gone.
Yeah.
Porzingis gets traded.
Yeah.
They've got to get under the cap. But that's because there's
no point. There's no point in spending money over the cap if you're not going to win.
A third of their team's salary is going to one player who's not going to play.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Coming up next, CBS Sports did something where they did the floors and ceilings for Big Ten teams this year. We'll see where we agree on that next. Morning Juice.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm the Innovation Ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
Tito has had 2 wives. They've both been named Heather. If you know someone named Heather, please warn her. This is Morning Juice.
Pickles and beer. Pickles and beer, Shark.
What are you talking about?
I was sad Shark is retiring, but now I'm not.
Yeah, because he's offended that I didn't know who Snuka was.
You knew Snooki, but not Snuka. That's on the chat. Hop on the YouTube chat. We'd love to communicate with you. Bobby, what number did your dad weigh? I can't remember what number he wore.
26.
He was 26? The entire career?
The Rams, he may have been 30.
That's what someone in the chat wanted to know what number he was. Said he thought he was number 30. I couldn't remember.
With the Rams, I think he was.
I've never seen highlights of your dad with the Rams. I've just seen
there weren't a whole lot of them.
Giants and Oilers.
Yeah, it was his last year there. It wasn't a whole lot of them.
You were born in L.A., right?
I was born in Houston.
Oh, you were Houston.
We lived
in
in
L.A. You lived
LA.
in L.A. That's
lived
right.
in L.A. My
Where were
brother was
you
born
conceived?
In Jersey. Probably Houston. I would venture a guess.
Back seat of a station wagon.
Yeah.
The station wagon goes on the field. They used to drive the cars on the field. You'd see in the background sometimes. You'd see like regular automobiles in the background of games on the field there. So, Bobby, the CBS Sports put this out yesterday. I found it to be interesting that with the ceilings and floors for each Big Ten team, this was by Tom Fornelli. He does a great job out there. I say out there, I don't know how he's based. Anyway, what do you think the floor? I'm not going to ask you what you think he thinks. What do you believe will be the floor for Ohio State this year?
9-3.
That's what he says. Also, he said 9-3.
I haven't looked at that, by the way, either. So
no, he was saying about how they could lose to Texas and say lose to Penn State, and then worst of all, he says that team up north, and they go 9-3 and get left out of the playoff. That's what I think. That's probably the floor. Also,
yeah, I would say that's right.
The one that jumped out to me was what do you think the ceiling is for Illinois?
You know how many times Ohio State has won less than 10 games
under Ryan Day? 0, right? Except
the COVID
year, yeah.
Under Urban Meyer?
0 there, too.
Under Jim Tressel?
Did they ever lose less than 1?
Oh, yeah.
His first year, his first year, and then his fourth year would have been 2001 and then 2004. So since 2000, the total is 2. So I would say
3 really because
so Fickle. So you have 3 times in 25 years that you've had that. So I'm going to take the over and trust that is going to come through.
Yeah, it's a little bit of blind faith. You just assume that they will reload. A girl, a big Buckeye fan at the pool the other day, she likes to pick my brain. She said, how the Buckeyes going to do this year? And I said, I don't know.
You're just going to do private radio shows afterwards.
I don't know. We got 3 starters back on defense. We assume that they're loaded and will fill in nicely, but I don't know. I don't know. I'd say the floor would be more like 8-4 instead of 9-3.
No,
well, they can't lose 4 games.
You say that, but we don't even know what it's going to look like. We don't know what the quarterback's going to look like.
If they lose 4 games, I'm looting. I'm going to go out and start looting. I'll be so upset about it.
Who are you going to loot?
I don't know. I'll go.
They played 3 quarterbacks one year and won a national title.
I understand, and again, we just assume that they are going to reload, but there are no guarantees.
They played a quarterback that no one even liked, and then he left the next year, and they still almost made the playoffs.
I know, but I've also seen Joe Bowserman, and I've seen...
Okay, that was the 1 year.
No, there was another one. Who was the starter before Belisari came in against UCLA?
Austin Mockerman.
Austin Mockerman.
Yeah.
You know, there have been lean...
Okay, so you mentioned 2 guys...
I know, we call it lean, but I'm just saying, Bob, we don't know what it looks like because we've never seen it. We haven't seen these guys.
Belisari, didn't like him either.
Why?
I don't know. I just think he was a good guy. That didn't like him. I think he was a good quarterback. I don't know. But it is saying the most indispensable player on this team.
No, not even close.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think the difference between him and Lincoln is discernible right now. And so it's not how good you are, it's how good you are relative to your replacement.
Have you seen...
I believe they call that war in baseball.
War, that's a good call by you. Have you watched...
Wins above replacement?
Yes. Have you watched much of Keenholz in practice?
I went to probably 12 of the 15 practices.
Okay.
I watched more of the defense, but in watching the defense when they do... what I'd like to do is watch the defense and then see where the ball goes, and then I go back and look at who threw it. Judging is that where it should have went, and how did it look when it got there?
I ask that because I don't always fully believe what the coaches say about a player.
That might be true.
And that's why I wanted to get your non-coach opinion on Keenholz, because
I like Lincoln a lot.
The only time I've seen the significant game actually got was in that bowl game against Missouri, the Cotton Bowl, when they didn't block for him. He wasn't ready for that. So when you
I would
say
argue that was actually indispensable experience for him, because when they went live this year, I thought he looked better than Julian in practice because he's been hit before and
right,
he's hit a lot in that game.
Okay, now, but do you notice a huge difference from when he got here to where he's at now?
As a player, he's much better. He's physically bigger.
Right.
He's more mature. He's getting through his reads faster.
Yeah.
He was a 3-sport.
Oh, yeah, he's a stud.
3-sport athlete in South Dakota.
Yeah.
So it's not like he had all of the development that a lot of these other guys had in high school. So he needed more time to mature and improve, and he knew that coming in here. So I don't think there was ever an anticipation that he was going to play prior to his 3rd year.
Right.
So his job was to come in here, work, and get better, which is what he's done, improve his body, improve his mind. And that's why he looks good, because he has a good understanding of the offense and everything. And with any guy, but he hasn't played a lot, the biggest issue is just always consistency. And how often can you be at your best?
Then who is most indispensable on this team? Is it Caleb Downs?
Probably, I would say that there's a strong case you could make for him, because you're replacing basically the 2 other inside defensive backs with him. And so how that's going to look is going to be interesting. And Jalen's back there. Who else? Sonny Stott or Lorenzo will probably get some nickel time. Maybe Bryce West. They've got a couple guys they're looking to roll through. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the other safety that played as a freshman now. I'm turning into Shark, but they just have a lot of guys who are talented who haven't played, and so Caleb is young. He'll be a junior, but he's played a lot and he can get guys lined up, and he is a stabilizing factor, and he's really good at his position, so that helps.
I am
Malik Hartford.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I am very optimistic that the offensive line is going to be great this year. I think they've got enough guys with experience last year. They had
tackle concerns me a little bit. Interior, fine. I think they'll get one tackle spot, be really good. Right. The other one, I've got to see some production.
I'm excited about the real Bo Jackson playing back there.
He looks good.
I think he's going to be a stud as well. And receiver, obviously. I mean, look, I'm not trying to say we'd be as good without Smith in there, but if Jeremiah goes down, there's still plenty of.
There's a lot of weapons. Like Mylan Graham has looked really good. They've got some very talented young guys.
What would you say? What do you think the ceiling is for Illinois this year?
Ceiling?
The ceiling.
Without looking at their schedule off the top, like
they've got an Indiana type schedule.
What?
They've got an Indiana 2020.
Yeah, they've got Ohio State
schedule
on there.
Yeah, in Champaign, I think.
Yes. Yep. So you think that would be a loss? Do they have another? Do they play Penn State or Michigan?
I think they avoid.
They've got Wisconsin on there. I think they have Iowa.
Yeah, I think they're avoiding the big boys this year. Let's see what they got here. I'm going to get their schedule for you now.
Trying a hard time reading, or what's going on?
It says WIL. I'm trying to think that Wilmington. I don't know who it would be. Western Illinois. They've got Western Illinois to start things off. They got Duke.
If you don't know who it is, I think it's safe to say that it's a team they'll probably be able to beat.
I would just say WILL, not WIL. Yes. Anyway, Duke, Western Michigan, at Indiana, host USC, at Purdue, host Ohio State, at Washington, host Rutgers, host Maryland, at Wisconsin, host Northwestern.
I would say ceiling is 10 wins. I'd say Ohio State's a loss, maybe USC. Maybe they beat USC, which would be big, but drop another one. But I think 10 wins is a good ceiling for them.
I think at Wisconsin might be their second toughest game. I think that might be the second toughest game on the schedule. USC in Champaign,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not as concerned about that, but he's got them going 11-1 is their ceiling. And then as their floor for Illinois, he's got them at 5-7. I can't see any way that happens for Illinois on that one, though. That's a pretty big range for that one, though.
That's a pretty big disparity.
What does he have them?
5-7.
5-7 is the floor for them. Boy, I tell you, a lot would have to go wrong there
I
for
would say
Bielema.
more like 6-6 to 7-5. I mean, that's a huge window. But here's the other thing: is that Illinois doesn't have the depth that like an Ohio State does.
Right.
And so if you lose somebody at Illinois,
Altmaier, their quarterback, yeah,
you lose Altmaier. Like you don't have like a Keenholz saying situation, or even like a really talented freshman to come in and potentially play. And they don't have near the depth that Ohio State does. And so that's where those issues come if you're most of those other teams.
Kirk Ferentz is going to become the all-time leader in wins for Big Ten coaches here pretty soon.
Yep.
He's right up there. And we talk about the Ohio State not making bad coaching hires since, 51 on. They have made a catastrophic coaching hire. And how long was Hayden Fry there, Shark? Because when Hayden Fry straight to Kirk Ferentz, right? Ferentz, this is like his 27th year or something like that?
Yeah, he came in 98, I want to say.
And Hayden Fry was here. There. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Are you saying he will become the winningest in just Big Ten games or overall?
I got to double check my stats.
Probably overall.
I think it's overall. Because Woody would
have. Remember, they play more They play more games now.
It's a Big Ten coach. Because, Paterno, I know Paterno had a bunch of wins, and granted, a bunch got vacated too. So it's like, Paterno's the winningest coach to coach in the Big Ten, right? But I'm saying that as far as, he's right behind Woody, and I believe he could pass him this year. Do you see it there or not, Shark?
I'm looking. Woody had
205, right?
204, I thought.
Okay. But when did Hayden Fry get there?
Hayden Fry was there in the 70s.
Amos Alonzo Stagg had 232 wins.
Okay.
For the University of Chicago. Then Woody at 205, you're right. And then Kirk at 204. Bo at 194. Joe Paterno 162. Hayden Fry 143. Hayden was there from 79 to 98, so that'd be 20 seasons.
Okay. Amos Alonzo Stagg, his number is actually 199 because it just counts as wins while coaching a Big Ten team.
Okay.
So Woody's at 205, Ferentz is 204, 199 for Stagg, 194 Schembechler.
So he's passing him
he's
in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, and then 162 for Paterno. And Fry 143, Henry Williams, never heard of him, Robert Zupke, Lloyd Carr had 122, and Barry Alvarez at 118.
And then D'Antonio at 114.
Yeah.
He had that many. Wow.
He's 11.
He was there for like 11 years.
He was there 13, 2007 to 2019. And then you've got the great Fielding Yost at Michigan, who's 12th with 113. He went 113 and 13.
Wow.
3 ties.
The Ryan Day is strong in him. That's a Ryan Day type run right there. But I never, the whole thing about Ferentz snuck up on him. Like I know he's been there forever, and they've been, forever, whatever.
Well, they win 8 games every year.
Right,
8,
that's
9
what they do.
games.
Yeah, he's an Earl Bruce type over there, Kirk Ferentz. He's lasted this long. It's depressing to me to think he's going to pass Woody Hayes, Bob, because I just don't. It's I want Woody's name atop that. I hope they vacate some wins.
Go throw a dead hooker in the back of his car.
That's
Go
all
set
we
him
gotta
up.
do.
Tito's going to start looting.
Right, yeah, but do that.
Go over there and set him up with a good scandal or something so they have to vacate some wins or.
Has a coach ever been that mediocre and had a job for this long?
Term mediocre. What are your expectations at Iowa?
Well, if my expectations are,
Just asking.
Yeah, I would think that he should have. I think that if your goal is to compete for Big Ten championships every year, if you're a Big Ten team, that should be your goal.
Should it be?
I think it should be.
Is it a realistic goal?
No, it's not realistic, Bobby. If we go realistic,
that should be your goal.
That should be the goal, though.
But
and he's not.
When you sit there and base out your expectations, that's a goal to be able to do that. But is that something you're going to hold people accountable to if they don't have the resources or history to be able to do that?
Well, at Ohio State, you would be held accountable because we have the resources.
100%.
If we go 9-3 and go to the Citrus Bowl, how many Buckeye fans are going to
100%
show up for that?
I get it.
If you go 9-3 at Northwestern,
they're having a parade.
They're
building
a statue.
And that's my point. Is what are the expectations at Iowa?
Here's his record since 2016 each year. 8-5, 8-5, 9-4, 10-3, 6-2 COVID. 10-4, 8-5, 10-4, 8-5.
A lot of 10 wins in there.
Yeah.
A lot of places, you know who would kill for 10 wins like that consistently?
Nebraska.
Florida.
Rutgers, Maryland. Yeah, I get it.
They got that with Bo Pelini, and it wasn't good enough.
Before Sarkisian got to Texas, they would have killed for. I mean, there's a lot of big. You know who else would kill for right now? USC. So we can talk about this all we like, and people can sit here and I listen to all these people and on our station here just bag on Kurt Ferentz. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the greatest coach, but I'm going to tell you this: if you get rid of him, there's a chance that you also might be staring at 6-6 every year too.
I agree.
He
first year he retires and they go 5-7, then the people in Iowa City might say, you know what? Maybe Ferentz wasn't so bad.
No, you might be right about that, but it's. You still, if you're not going to win Big Ten, if you can't do it, then you try to find somebody who can, and it might backfire on you. I'm with you on that, but if you go to the season, like you're saying, that realistically, I think there's only probably 4 teams that could win the Big Ten this year.
Yeah,
almost every year it's going to be like that. I think.
Do you think Iowa is ever going to consistently be in that 4-team set outside of Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon? Michigan, USC should be in it, but they're not right now.
Right.
And Michigan's probably not even in it right now at this moment. Outside of that, who would you say should consistently be in there? So to put those other teams and hold their coaches to that expectation, like what Kurt Cignetti did last year was great. If he does that every 3rd or 4th year, and as long as you're not going 2-10
right
in between, and you're at 6-6 or 7-5, and then you go 9-3, and then one year you get juiced up, and you got a schedule like Illinois, and you go 10-2. And you make a playoff, that's great. That's what Fitzgerald did in Northwestern.
Yep.
He went to 2 Big Ten championships. No one in Northwestern was saying, well, I wish we could have beat Ohio State. Ohio State had pros and pros and pros. Like Northwestern had 2 first-round draft picks on those teams.
That it's all lip service. If a coach comes out and says we expect to compete for the Big Ten championship.
Expect to compete is one thing. Expect to win it, that's a different story.
Okay, but you just said it's 4 teams, and I agree with you. The 4 or 5 we mentioned there. Since they went to one singular division, they got rid of East and West and all that stuff. There is no chance, in my opinion, Purdue, Northwestern, Rutgers, Maryland, any of those schools will ever play for a Big Ten championship.
So Purdue's an interesting one because for about 3 decades or 4 decades, Purdue was in a great spot to be able to win. And they were a team that consistently competed. What did we just say? Were they the team with the most NFL quarterback passing yards?
I think Everett and Breeze and Mark Herman.
They're with the
Gary
most.
Danielson.
Yes.
Greasy.
Yeah. They're the team with the most. And so you look at that list of for 35 years, they're really damn good.
Right.
And you know what happened? Tiller retired. And then what have they been doing since then?
I think the bigger thing for Purdue
Sucking.
is the Big Ten is tougher than it was back then.
Are you sure about that?
Well, and you
hold
also.
on. I want you to think about that statement real quick.
Yeah.
They were in the Big Ten West, and look at the teams that they were playing.
I'm saying the Big Ten is tougher now
than in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, I think so. I think that since they've added Oregon.
Okay, maybe in the last 2 years, the addition of Oregon, Washington, USC, maybe.
Right. No, so I'm saying it's tougher now than it was then, which is why I don't
But
think Purdue will ever
how
get
about
there.
from 2008 or 9 to 2020? What do you think the excuse was for those 10 to 12 years?
I don't know if I don't necessarily have an excuse. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying going forward, I don't think Purdue ever plays for a Big Ten
You're
championship.
basing that because of the last 12, 13 years, they've been bad.
And the fact the Big Ten is the Big Ten didn't add a
I
bunch
would
of Ivy
argue
League
that
schools.
in the 80s, the Big Ten was better than what it is now.
Top to bottom, I don't know, Bob.
In the 90s, yes.
Top to bottom.
Oh, you had Wisconsin was consistently right. Dude, Wisconsin with the 2 Rose Bowls. Iowa went undefeated or in the Big Ten and lost 1 game in 2002. Purdue had Drew Brees and was consistently good. Penn State, when they came in, were dominant there for about 6 or 7 years. Michigan was really good during that time. Ohio State was rolling out big-time teams throughout the 90s until the end of Cooper. So, I would argue that, Michigan State was going 7-5, 8-4, and they had first-round draft picks. Plexico Burris playing receiver.
I think the thing going forward is you have to look at how much money can Purdue generate in NIL. You're talking about Columbus, Ohio against West Lafayette, Indiana. We, unless they've got a big donor or a couple big donors, they don't have the car dealerships and the everything we've got here, the big industry.
No one else does.
Nobody else does.
Nobody else does.
Michigan, Ann Arbor's not exactly a suburb of Detroit.
It's Detroit adjacent. It's not far.
I just don't know how Purdue can compete NIL-wise, which is what you've got to do now.
Yeah, you've got to do that. And now, before, there were fewer teams, I think, that you had to beat to win the Big Ten. Fewer quality teams, I should say. Fewer top-level quality teams. And because of NIL, Shark, and because of the fact that you've got schools like the NIL gets added even more when you talk about Oregon and their NIL situation, Purdue's never going to be able to spend with Ohio State and Oregon for sure. They'll never be able to spend anywhere near what Ohio State and Oregon are spending, I wouldn't think.
A lot of schools aren't going to be able to do that.
Right. Which is why I believe, and that's why my initial point was, I don't believe Purdue will ever play in a Big Ten championship game.
Forever's a long time, though, Tito. You could have a multi-billionaire that's a graduate of Purdue that is donating money. You just never know.
Isn't there a lot of money in Ivy League? Isn't there a lot of money in Nebraska?
It's not about money. Well, they don't have scholarships. It's not about having the money. It's about having the money with people that have it's population times dollars times passion. The passion element, you have to have people that actually care about sports.
Right.
So if you don't have people that care about it, they're not going to donate their dollars to it.
It's
like Michigan State's good because they have Dan Gilbert and Matt Ishbia, who both own NBA teams. So I think it's a fair assessment that they both care about sports.
Fair, yeah. Yeah.
Which other schools, they have billionaires. There's people out there, but if you don't care about it, then they're not going to donate to it.
Tito.
Yes.
We got to go.
I know we do. All right. We'll do what's got you juiced next.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Tito invited the new Russian family who moved in down the street to watch Rocky IV. It did not go well. I must break you. This is Morning Juice.
Shark got all mad at me for going long there. Bobby, get some of these conversations. I want to keep talking about it. It was a good conversation.
Phil says great conversation today.
And you won't talk to me outside the studio. It's the only chance I get to pick your brain on things. All right, let's do some quick hitters.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hit.
Or we can do this.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
According to my sheet, Bobby, it's Wednesday.
Well, what's got me juiced is yesterday. I forgot to mention it, so I'm going to give her a happy belated. My mother-in-law, Janet, had her birthday yesterday. So a big happy birthday to her.
No ages, please.
Oh, no. Definitely no ages. Yeah, no ages.
You mentioned it yesterday. You didn't do it in the juice part, but you did it in the show.
Did I?
Yeah, we had a conversation. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well.
Twice.
Did you do your balance test today, Bob?
Coach, listen. I went and met with that guy about my concussion stuff a while ago, and I'm like...
Concussions aren't real.
I joked with him. I was like, how long do I have until I'm at MCL eating pudding? And the guy, he's like, that's not funny. I'm like, well, it's not funny because it's you. What do you want me to do about it?
What are you going to do? You got to joke about it. What else are you going to do?
100%. Just put me on the pudding plan. Sagging around up there.
What's your favorite pudding?
Oh, tapioca.
I love tapioca. I love the butterscotch, though.
Butterscotch is really good, too.
I could do that. The problem is, I told you, I used to love butterscotches, and I ate a whole bag of them. I stole them from my grandma, and then I couldn't eat butterscotch for probably at least a decade. It wasn't until, as an adult, I came back and started eating butterscotch again.
Really?
It was bad. I mean, I ate it so much, I think I threw up from it, and throwing up the butterscotch was not as good as it going down. So that wasn't very much fun.
We make fun of pudding eaters, but who doesn't like pudding?
Yeah, right. Pudding's great.
Bill Cosby loves pudding.
I like pudding better than Jell-O.
When I was 15.
Hot take by Shark?
Yeah, that's a good...
My neighbor would make this pudding Jell-O combo. It was amazing.
Really?
It was like a thicker Jell-O. She would make these Easter eggs around Easter, and then when we got older, she put booze in them, which was even better. But yeah, she would make those for us, and they were so good. Mrs. Judy Gasser, they were delicious.
Heard of Jell-O shots?
Yes,
pudding shots.
Pudding
There you
shots.
go. So no, that's
don't.
Jell-O shots got me juiced always. I mean, there's never an inappropriate time for those. Got a nice little busy day. Going over the second 7 camp. It's final day for that. Going to speak to the kids. Get a little workout in. Head over there. I got to do something else after that. Do my show with Age. Got a meeting. Got a lot of stuff going on today. So pretty excited for that. Maybe hit up the pool again, Shark, because you got to just soak in this nice warm weather. I mean, you're getting so tan over there. I thought you were the late great Bob Barker at first.
I didn't go to the pool yesterday, though. It was really nice, but I got home and I ate and I was tired. I went to bed.
Go to the pool and take a nap.
I could
That's the
have,
best
Bob,
nap.
but-
That's
I
the
went to the
best
pool
nap.
last night by myself and read. And then got pulled into some conversations. Like, oh, well, who's here? I'm like, just me. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. None of my kids. I'm good. I'll go to the pool by myself. I'll be a creep. Shark, what Slay's got to say?
I tell you what, I've been lifting big, so then my body wants to eat big. When that occurs, weight goes on. But I'll also say this, thick necks are in. Make sure you train your neck. Nobody likes a skinny neck. Big backs, thick necks. Ask all the ladies out there. It's real. It's real talk.
I have to tell Tito that he likes a skinny neck so he can button that top button.
Proud of myself.
I'm going to skip Juice, but I will say this. I'll be home at 10 o'clock this morning, full sunshine, 84. 11 a.m., partly sunny or partly cloudy, and 87. Noon, clouds. So I'm going to have to get it in early today, Bob, the pool,
There you
before
go.
it gets cloudy.
Get that
But,
nap.
yeah, 91 today, 89 tomorrow, 90 Friday. Life is good. And then I'm retiring. Tito, what has you juiced?
If you're going to take a nap at the pool in one of the chairs,
don't snore.
Do it face down. Make sure
We
you do
used
it
to
face
call
down.
it A up instead
No,
of
you do it face down.
Why?
I'm just saying, people know Shark. You know something will happen to make them know you more. I would say lay face down is all I'm going to say. I am juiced about my did it happen to me? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm juiced because my brother's in town. I haven't seen him in a while. He got in town the other day, and so I'm going to hang out with him a little bit while he's here for a spell. So I'm excited about that. Thank you to all the juicers for tuning in on YouTube and chatting with us. We love that. And you're here every day, and we do appreciate that. So thank you so much. Make sure you check us out on 10 TV Plus if you want to see it again, because why wouldn't you? It's an award-winning – no, it's not, but it's a show. Thanks so much, folks. Talk to you tomorrow. Morning Juice.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.